Yes, I'm Eric Hackley with Frost Illustrated. And, a lot of people say that we're beyond the civil rights era. Why is it so important that we know our civil rights history, especially of the 1960s?
I think it's important because we're not beyond that. I think if you look at the last year alone, all of the civil rights issues that have occurred around policing, around the racial killing in Charleston, which was not police related. When you look at the disparity, blacks are still doubly unemployed to whites. The president talked about that the other night. So we're not out of it yet. We made a lot of progress, but we've got a long way to go. And civil rights is not a fashion that goes in and out of fashion. It's a need that has to be fulfilled, and until it's fulfilled, you will always have people like us do what we do. And if you read the criticisms of us, they are exactly the criticism they gave to people in the 60s. Outside agitators, troublemakers, divisive, same adjectives. And I think that you just must be more committed than those that are against you are committed to.
Okay, we're back live again. My next guest is Reverend Dr. Junius Batten Pressey. Mr. Pressey, welcome here to the show here.
Welcome again.
All right, now, when we met 40 years ago, roughly, I was a freshman, and you were just coming back from Vietnam. And I guess at that point in time, you were entering the civil rights arena along with completing your education. When you look back over the years and listening to Al Sharpton here talking about the civil rights era, what are your thoughts? Are we beyond that period now? Because people always tell us to forget about that because it's time to move past that.
Well, first of all, Eric, I want to say thank you for inviting me to come on your program tonight to talk about these current times and these current issues. In terms of how far we have come, I think it's right in the middle of the black anthem. I just want to read this to you, just a couple of standards. Stormy the roads we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died. Yet with a steady beat, have not our weary feet come to a place to which our fathers sighed? We have come over a way that the tears have been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered, out from the gloomy past, till now we stand at last, where while gleam our bright star is cast. Eric, our problem today is that many of us have forgotten how far we have come and the richness of the history that has brought us into our present moments. And when you forget where you have come, you forget about doing the things that you need to do to secure the freedom that have been won. Freedom has been won in many areas, but most of our freedom has been lost because we have not continued to do due diligence in our responsibility for the burdens of what keeps us free.
Now I noticed that when Al Sharpton said one thing, he said that back then they called people like yourself agitators. We don't need that type of a thing. But everything that he mentioned, agitators, troublemakers, being divisive, he didn't know it. But those are the exact same things that they said about him before he came to Fort Wayne. Because in the political forums that I hosted, people running for political office said, we don't need any Al Sharptons here. Now, why would they say something like that? I mean, why it's not just him, but he's a poster child for the civil rights era. And why is that era still frowned upon by so many people?
Well, one of the problems that we have in our culture today, let's take Fort Wayne for an example. I've been in this city for almost 44 years. I came here being born in the state of Virginia, came out of segregation, went through separate schools most of my life. When I came to Fort Wayne, one thing that I recognize about Fort Wayne, this city has a lot of dreams about where they want to go, but one thing has never changed about Fort Wayne. the culture. This culture of this city is a culture that will snuff out anything that wants to bring about the kind of changes that will make us better as an overall community. If you never change the culture, I can put a black mayor in office, I can put more blacks on city council, but the culture will snuff out every dream and everything we will try to do in this community. So until we change the culture, we're going to have to do what the anthem says. God of our weary years, lest we forget, we have to continue to fight for the freedoms that have already been won. It is a journey. We have not reached our destination yet. And for too long, we have been sitting back thinking that freedom is going to be something that is always going to be there. And we're seeing now many people would like to try to roll back all of the gains that have been made over the last 150 some years.
Now, when I asked Al Sharpton the question about, and he said that we're still in the 60s,
Mm-hmm.
What you just said then, if we roll things back, if we roll back the gains that were made in the 60s, that puts us back to slavery.
No, it doesn't put you back to slavery. What it does do is this. Prior to the 60s, segregation not only held the black man down, but segregation held the majority of white middle class down. When you put your foot on a group of people, how can you move? So all of these things they're trying to roll back, how do you think folks are living out in the suburbs? Who do you think who do you think have made it possible for them to be able to live out in the suburbs and to live on Mars Hill? When you constantly try to put certain people in their places, you better take another look at how you're living, because what you do to them is going to impact your current situation.
Now, from what I understand, the first group to start moving outside of Fort Wayne into the suburban areas, that's when they allowed blacks to start going beyond Creighton Street and buying their homes.
You're bringing up some memories now.